Well, today marks a huge day for Star Wars gaming. Merely 2 days ago, we made a video speculating about EA's exclusivity rights with Star Wars. Again, if anybody doesn't realize this, EA had exclusive rights on Star Wars games for 10 years. This started in 2013 and finishes in 2023. But with only 2 years left of that exclusivity, we can gauge a good idea on if that exclusivity deal will be renewed or not. And it looks like we got our answer today. It appears that EA will no longer have that exclusivity deal with Disney. Now, this doesn't mean that they won't be making any more Star Wars games in the future, and there could be a different contract in the mix that we're not aware of yet. But before we get into more details, guys, did you know over 70% of you that watch our videos are not subscribed? So if you want to hear more about Star Wars Squadrons, Jedi Fallen Order, Empire at War, or just Star Wars gaming news in general, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you get notified first on all these updates. But with that all said and done, let's dive right into the video. As of recording 2 days ago, Disney renamed the LucasArts gaming branch to Lucasfilm Games. And in that video, we discussed whether or not EA was going to lose their contract because of this. Whilst we weren't expecting any more news to come from this after the announcement of the rebrand, it looks like only 2 days later, Lucasfilm Games has made their first announcement for a new Star Wars game. And the company that they're pairing with, it appears to be no other than Ubisoft. Ubisoft's Massive Entertainment is the game company that will be developing this new Star Wars game. Massive Entertainment have worked on games like The Crew and The Crew 2, these games being an open-world racing video game. It features big, persistent open-world environments for free roaming, so it's clear that the developers working on this new Star Wars game have a lot of experience in making massive open-world areas. And lo and behold, it does look like this new Star Wars game will be open-world. It's very likely we'll get more information on this new Star Wars game later on today, and when they do, we'll update you as fast as possible. So if that doesn't convince you to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell, I definitely don't know what will. But with Ubisoft's Massive Entertainment taking the wheel, this marks the first game that a company outside of EA has produced a Star Wars game since Disney acquired Lucasfilm in 2012. It's been 8 years since we've heard of any Star Wars game announcement other than EA in the past 8 years. And yes, EA does have 2 more years of exclusivity rights over Star Wars. That explains the game releases like Jedi Fallen Order 2, and any other updates that come to Galaxies of Heroes, or maybe even Squadrons. And the reason we're hearing about this now, rather than at the end of EA's exclusivity deal in 2023, is because we will likely not see this game come out until 2023. As I mentioned in our Cyberpunk video, games take super long to develop. So a 3-year development time for an open world Star Wars game like this sounds pretty reasonable. And even though it's only been 2 days, this is not the first game announced by Lucasfilm Games. If anybody has been on Twitter recently, you might have noticed that Lucasfilm Games have paired up with Bethesda Game Studios, and it looks like the two of them are working on a new Indiana Jones game. And the last time LucasArts/Lucasfilm Games made an Indiana Jones game dates back all the way to 1992 with Indiana Jones and the Fate of the Atlantis. So I guess this is really fantastic news for Star Wars fans across the board. I know many of you didn't like EA's exclusivity right over the entire Star Wars franchise for gaming. And in my personal opinion, I don't think it's healthy to have one publisher have exclusive rights over an entire franchise. And the Star Wars franchise's worth has exponentially grown like tenfold in the past 10 years. And honestly, I don't think there was anything EA could do to convince Disney to renew for another contract like that. Because the worth of Star Wars back in 2012 compared to 2021 is vastly different now. And for those of you who really believed there was going to be a re-sign, you're not in the wrong. Many people thought this was going to be another re-sign because the sales of all EA Star Wars games was fantastic. Whether you hate the games or not, they sold extremely well. Not to mention Jedi Fallen Order was one of the best Star Wars games that was sold in the past 5 years. But it looks like those sales figures alone were not enough to convince Disney to sign up with EA again. However, there are some concerns about moving away from one publisher's exclusivity rights and giving it to loads of other game developers. For one, this can definitely lead to Star Wars fatigue in the gaming industry. If we release too many Star Wars games in one time, not many people are going to be wanting to play Star Wars games because there's just too many to come out. Look at Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed. They used to release games like once a year, which is just insane turnarounds for game development, and a lot of people got tired of the franchise very fast. So we gotta hope that this doesn't happen with Star Wars. Not to mention, EA has done a pretty good job with the last 2 Star Wars games that have come out. Jedi Fallen Order and Star Wars Squadrons were, in their own right, fantastic games. It definitely looked like EA had their stride in what to do when making Star Wars games. But now it looks like they're not going to be first up, first served anymore. And that can lead to, again, some pretty bad Star Wars games. Let's not remember how bad some of them were back in like the PS1, maybe even PS2 days. And yeah, we could see another 5 to 8 years where we can have some pretty bad Star Wars games. Just something to look out for, by the way, guys. But that's just me playing devil's advocate. Overall, this is really, really good news. In a previous video, I did mention that Star Wars gaming wasn't looking that bright, mostly because we didn't know if EA was going to have their exclusivity rights renewed, and that can stunt some development time for Star Wars games, meaning that we could have a very bleak 2021 and an even bleaker 2022. But with this news that we've gotten today, it does give us a big shining light of hope for the future of Star Wars gaming. Although we don't know much for the short term, i.e. the next 2 years, the next 3 to 5 years certainly do look bright for Star Wars. But those are my opinions. This is the part of the video where I pass the question over to you. What do you think about the EA exclusivity deal no longer being renewed? Are you overjoyed that other game companies can make Star Wars games now? Or perhaps you're worried that Ubisoft is making a Star Wars game, leading to the idea that yes, we could have some bad Star Wars games in the future. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm really interested in your opinions on this one, guys. But with that all said and done, I've been Charlie, you've been watching EcksToo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.